So turn down the lights, lock the door. It's time for DJs After Dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, lights are low. Yeah, baby. It's DJs After Dark. My name is Danny J, along with Rob Cannon. Say hi, Rob.
Dr. Rock. Hi,
Dr.
everybody.
Rock.
Hey, guys.
Dr.
What's
Rock.
up?
And
Ladies,
Fast
good
Eddie
to talk to
C.
you.
We're here.
Eddie C.
Eddie C. The Ed CC, as we like to call
Yes, the Ed
Oh,
CC.
stop.
Ed CC.
Yeah.
Thanks for
We were,
joining us
we were doing important stuff back then.
for important stuff. Yes.
All I know is
Groundbreaking
I was
stuff.
kidnapped from Wawa.
Yeah. Again. I saw him at Wawa tonight.
Wow.
I'm like,
Another-
Ray, we got to stop meeting like this.
Thanks for joining us for another great episode of DJs After Dark. Remember, you can check us out on YouTube at DJB Productions, as well as on podcast formats such as Google Podcasts, Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, Caster, and much, much more, courtesy of Anchor.fm. We're recording right here in the Canon Entertainment Studios, as Canon Entertainment, along with DJB Productions, coming together to bring you DJs After Dark.
After Dark.
Cisco.
All right.
So
Hey.
anyway,
We're going to talk about complaints today,
we're
right?
talking about complaints today.
And funny stories.
Yeah, we'll do funny stories and complaints.
So let's talk about... I'll tell a story first.
Go ahead.
Go right
All right.
ahead, Rob.
Go
All right,
ahead.
a few weeks back, I did this party. I told you this story, Dan. So a few weeks back, I did this party. I get this extensive playlist, and 2 of the pages were do not play,
Okay.
and the other 2 were play.
Okay.
So what I did is I was smart. I put all the play songs on the computer to get ready to play.
Right.
So that way I knew I could play them,
Right.
Right.
and then I used the do not playlist if anybody came up and asked me for a request. Anyway, I got to say, I was a little nervous about doing the job because he put down a lot of things that you would normally play at
Yeah.
a job.
On the do not
I
play
love
list?
that
Like
as
no
a DJ.
electric
Do
slide,
not
no
play.
Cupid shuffle, no
Right.
this, no
What?
that. Yeah, nothing like major
Yeah.
requests that get people
Right.
up.
Right.
So here I'm like a little nervous. I'm even telling the customer, like it was the mother, it was for her kid's wedding and her graduation from like college.
Okay.
So it was
Rob
a
Cannon
combo.
nervous? Get a damn brag.
Yeah, I
oh
know.
my God.
Well, I was more nervous about, like, you know, it would seem like I had to do a lot of homework for the job. But anyway, hey, Danny J. So anyway, I'm doing this gig, and the people were dancing from pretty much right after dinner, even some during dinner,
Right.
and basically full dance floor all night. And I'm playing all his requests. So I played one song that's on his request list. He comes up to me and he's screaming and hollering saying, yo, what are you playing this for?
No.
I said, dude, this is your request. This is what you asked me
Right.
for. So I show him, right? And basically when I showed him, he's like, that's not it. So I wanted to call him in.
So Barbie Girl was on the do not playlist? Did I take
Oh,
it?
yeah,
All right, cool. I
definitely.
just want to be sure.
All right,
cool.
so-
All right.
So anyway, I mix out of the version that he didn't like into the version he wanted. And he gives me like thumbs up, like, yeah. But at the end of the night, you know, and like I said, everybody was having a blast. It was like packed, the dance floor, everything. So I didn't get a tip. I didn't get a thanks. I didn't get nothing.
Nothing?
You got a laminated list.
And
of
he
do
didn't
not
even
play
come up
songs?
to me. Yeah.
Right.
And that dude never came up to me and apologized for being a jackass. Never came up at all, you know? And my luck, he'll listen to this podcast.
Yes.
No, you know what? That's something, Rob. It brings to mind something. And brides and grooms, please don't take this personally because I love you. I gave my life to this goddamn job and 3 hernia operations. But I love when people say, I want you to do me a favor, do not play this song. And then all the way down, there's like 360 songs, do
Right.
not play. Guess what? First song in, when you're putting people on the dance floor at your wedding or whatever, birthday party or anniversary, your friend's going to come up and say, by the way, can you play?
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. It's kind of like when you're doing a block party, and I kind of get into this a little bit. And for one day out of the year, you're out on the street or whatever, and you're playing fun, and there's always that one neighbor that says, "Oh my God, it's too loud" or whatever. It's one day out of the freaking year. It's the same thing for your wedding. You don't care if the ceiling falls in. It's your wedding, okay? The bottom line is, I think you limit yourself so many times when you do not play this, do not play this, do not. You're walking around tables, talking to relatives, talking to friends, having a good time, whatever. Like, my daughter just got married like a year ago, and she was at the Lazaretto Ballroom, and it was so cool because everybody had a great time, and the DJ handed me the microphone, and for the first time, people that never saw me got to see me slide across the floor on my freaking knees and my wife's like, "Oh my God, if he tears himself up, it's your fault," right? So the thing is, what I'm trying to say, and I have to always bring it back because my wife says I get off topic sometimes, is remember, it's your wedding, it's a party. That's what it is. It's a non-stop
But you know
party.
what, though?
Okay.
To make another point to what you're saying, though, and I say this to every bride and groom that I talk to, etc., is that you got to remember, though, that although you're the guest of honor, you're the host.
Right.
Correct. Absolutely.
You're not the guest.
Okay.
And what happens is you're going to be doing so many things that you won't
have time to know what's on the do not play.
You won't. And
whatever.
Sometimes people get offended and say, "Oh no, I'm not." Trust me when I tell you, you will not know when I play this song.
You won't care. You may look back at the video or something a week later and say, "I didn't really want that song," but guess what? The song that you didn't want has 500 people on the floor having a great time. Because you have to remember, it's not only you that's at that wedding. It's your relatives that are in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, or their 20s, whatever they're in.
We did a wedding, and it was something where the kids were young. They were really young. They were in their 20s. And they
wanted all top 40.
And well, no, they didn't want all top 40. What they wanted was nothing older than the 80s.
I get that a lot.
I can get that. I can understand that.
But then you're like, okay. Well, I said, understand. I said, do you have any old people? Some. They're kids. So we go in there, and I find out that they flew in people from Ireland. They flew in people from California, all over the place. And I have a guest list of over 300 people.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I'm like, well, it's a big party. Right? And then I look out over the people that are coming in because it's cocktail hour, and there's not a person under the age of 50. What do they call it?
Cocktail.
We're going back to your kids again, aren't we, Rob? All right. Somehow he always twists it back about himself.
Why can't it be called Fun Hour? It's got to be Cocktail Hour.
In case you haven't tuned in lately, Rob, what are you up to? 14
Rob
now
took
or
that
whatever?
completely. He took
got like a soccer team.
Cock and tail, put it together, and now he has a zip code full of kids.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Go ahead.
But the thing was, I said I went to them. I lined them up. Because, you have to line them up before you take them in. And I said, listen, just one last thing. Guys, I said, I have to play older music. You have nobody in there that's not with AARP. I mean, the entire guest list is old. I said, there's not a dark-haired person in the bunch.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, whatever, okay, whatever. And then I go out there and I play my normal stuff.
Your normal
play
stuff.
Anyway, which would be, your Platters and your Chubby Checker and your Sam Cooks and your fun Motown music and stuff like that. And I had to dance for the whole night.
That's it.
Right, because you have to remember, people want to have fun at a wedding.
Barely any of the people that she would want to cater to dance even when they played their music.
Right.
So, but Ed, go ahead.
Bottom line, when somebody comes to you guys, you book the wedding.
Yes.
They come to you because obviously they were referred, whatever.
Yeah.
Let the DJs do their job. Don't tell us, can't play this, can't play this, can't play this. It's a matter of a judgment call that same day that you were just talking about.
Right, because we're professional. We know how to get people to do what we want.
But on Ed's note, what he's saying, it's one thing if they say do not play a few songs.
I
No big deal.
that.
Sorry, microphone. No big deal if they want that. But when they write 2 pages of do not play, it's pretty hard to do a job that way.
I think they basically ruined the affair.
But, can I just say, though, doing that job...
Don't give my home address.
Doing that job, even though they didn't act like they appreciated what I did, honest to God, I said to myself, damn, you did a good job for not doing that, right?
Yeah.
But
how many times
I
as a
thought
DJ,
it was going to be a nightmare.
And I'm sure
Danny's
done it, Rob's done it, Ed's done it, and I know I've done it. How many times as a DJ do you say to yourself, this is what they want, but this isn't working? This isn't working.
Exactly.
And you don't say anything to them.
70% of
You
the
just
time.
gamble at your own professional, because we've all been in this business over 20, 30 years, and we're basically not home on weekends and stuff. We basically did what we had to do. You have to know as a DJ, and you have to be professional enough to look at your dance crowd and say,
Well, you got to make flowers out of shit.
This ain't going to work. What they want, I'm sorry, brides and grooms, this isn't going to work because Aunt Jenny's not going to move, or Uncle Frank's not going to move, and Grandmom's not going to move.
right.
And
We
whatever.
talked about it on the last episode and stuff like that. I said I did a wedding where we did nothing but like Seattle sound,
Right.
and stuff like that,
Right.
And the
Black
whole
holes, sun.
yeah,
I
stuff
had
like
to
that.
do it. I
and
had
so,
to do it.
And so the bridal party, who, by the way, and this is not being, I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
I was the best dressed person at the wedding, period.
Nice.
Yeah.
As the DJ, right?
Where
And I'm
were the
talking with the
RVs?
bridal party in there with their tuxedos. I was still
What?
the best dressed one.
Really?
Right. So I'm in there, and like everybody's like, "Oh, can't you play this guy?" I said, "No, I'm under strict instructions. I have to play this type of music. Talk to the groom.
Right.
This is his strict instructions. This is not my playlist."
Right.
Because I wasn't going to take a hit. Because understand too, we get referrals from jobs. That's how we get a lot of it's word of mouth. Say, "Oh, I was at a party. I saw that DJ. He was great."
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Right. And I said, on the other end of it, "Oh my God, we went to so and so's wedding and his DJ was horrible." Not to know that we're just doing our job,
Right,
based on
exactly.
who paid us, right? So the guy finally gets enough complaints, and he comes up to me and says, "Listen, dude, everybody's just telling me that this is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and play what you want. Play what you want."
Right.
I said, "Okay,
It
good."
should be play what you gotta play, not what you want.
Well, that's what he's
Exactly.
saying. Play what
You
you
know,
want.
'cause
Play what
we
you
all
want.
play what we
because
gotta
it
play.
was like against what he wanted, right?
Right.
I put on. I don't know if it was double Dutch buzz. It was something so plain and
Right.
you would have thought I threw a $100 bill on the dance floor.
Right, and- yeah.
That they jumped out there. In that same aspect, though, the people that were at this wedding, there was a woman there who was dressed in a woman's t-shirt, leggings, and flats, like she was going to a 4th of July picnic,
Sexy.
right?
Nice.
This is at a wedding, and she was
Nice.
about
Smoking.
she was roughly about 6 months pregnant. She was popped.
Okay.
6-7 months pregnant.
Already-
I didn't do it.
So yeah,
I don't think
That
so.
was not
Sure?
mine.
Paternity suit.
bridal
Right.
party. They start to do
I am not
they do
the
the garter and bouquet. Bride throws the bouquet. This girl is in the line to catch the bouquet.
Oh.
She does a baseball slide. Pregnant.
What?
Pregnant does a baseball slide because it's a small ceiling, so the bride throws the
Right.
bouquet up, it hits the ceiling,
the
goes
ceiling,
straight
comes
down,
down, yeah.
right? She does a baseball slide in her flats, her leggings, her 4th of July t-shirt, whatever. You're at a wedding, by the
Wow.
way,
Right.
right? And I almost missed my cue because my mouth was open like, what the fuck did I just look at?
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like with this here, I said between that and the black hole sun, I said this is like a Twilight Zone
I
episode.
salute the girl
Oh,
because
you
she
know?
was having fun. And that's really what a wedding is. And you have to remember, it's
I salute the
about having
doctors because
fun.
all the therapy they're going to have to give the kid once he's born.
tell
Oh my God. We're really not talking about complaints. I kind of like it because I got my mentor here, Rob Cannon, who every week always found a way to
I complain about him
find
all the time.
something that I did wrong or whatever. Never gave me my kudos or anything.
Whoa. Let me
But-
fix this real quick.
Yeah.
If I had a complaint, was I not supposed to let him know? I told him the good first, and then
Right.
I had to drop the bad.
Right.
It happens all the time.
I used
The
to call
funny
it
thing
Butt
is, though,
Monday. Butt
The funny thing
Monday.
is, though, like we do individual stuff, we do stuff together. I know Rob.
Right.
Christ,
Yeah, and I have to do that to you.
Yeah.
And I did it to
I
Eddie.
mean, I
and
know
did it
Rob.
to-
I know Rob 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and Rob is like
The
family.
docs know me, what,
Since
40?
1984, man.
You know?
I think
So-
I know you the oldest.
I was
the
born in
longest, right?
1984. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, yes.
I think we've known each other the longest, right? We go back to the skating.
Skate Odyssey. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, Eddie.
But the
And I
thing is with
gotta
Rob,
say this though. This room, just sitting here with you guys, is a bunch of talented individuals. Danny J, I think,
Thank
is one of the
you.
best.
Yes,
and it
I
really,
really do.
everybody
Rob,
really
he
is.
was-
If
he
I-
was my mentor my whole DJ career, and I worked with you so many times, and it's really fun just getting together with a bunch of friends today.
And Danny did a job for us one time. My mom, God rest her soul,
Yeah.
loved Danny. Danny did an unbelievable
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, and then I DJ'd for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But yeah, she loved Danny. She thought it was
It was
But she
fun
loves
time.
me more, Dan. I
Sure.
was
The
like
funny
a
thing is,
son to her.
When Rob and I do, the
Right,
funny thing
Eddie?
is when
Right.
Rob has a lot of trouble. To his credit, he does not like to give bad news.
I do.
He really
really
doesn't. So that's why we do a lot
How
of
come it's so easy to him then?
Oh, when it's talking to
I
you.
used to call it Butt Monday. I would return my equipment and all, and it was called Butt Monday. Ray, you were really good. I mean, you had people like leaning out like the windows or whatever. But let me tell you something. Al was telling me that you don't speak right out of the right side of your mouth when you talk, or you don't enunciate, or anything like, you know what I mean. You
when
have
you
to
first
inflect
started,
your
you
voice.
never spoke loud enough.
No, I didn't.
Now you speak so loud, I can't shut you
can't
down.
shut the hell up.
Yeah. I used to get in trouble at my weddings because I talked too much.
We got more funny stories. Speaking of talking too much, shut up for a second. We got more funny stories. And Ed, do we have any more news?
I'll check.
You'll check.
I'll check.
Les Nessman's going to check for the news. We're going to be back on DJs After Dark right after this.
Since 1974, Canon Entertainment has been serving the tri-state area, providing professional musical entertainment to thousands of our customers. Canon Entertainment doesn't just play music. We are professional musical entertainers. We have personality, talent, and each DJ has a minimum of 7 years experience. We are especially trained for events like the one you're planning. We will customize your event to make it everything you want, and we'll give you our many years of experience to make it even more. Don't gamble with your affair. Be sure to choose the best. Canon Entertainment. Check us out on the web at canonentertainment.com. Call us now.
Call them at 610-449-8908. You can speak to Rob Cannon and tell him you heard about it right here on DJs After Dark. Cisco. After Dark. We're here. We're talking about a lot of different stuff. We're talking about complaints and stuff like that. And what I was getting ready to get into right before the break was Rob does not like to give bad news.
Never.
So
I'm too nice.
Rob thanked his lucky stars once I started to work with him because we
made
do good cop, bad cop very, very well. Because I have like that thing
I
like
used to make Al do it too.
remember on Golden Girls when they brought the grandmother in and she had a stroke and like she didn't have any inhibitions about what she said.
She had no filter. She let
She
it
had no
fly.
filter.
So old.
I didn't have a stroke, but I have no
yet.
filter. So I say a lot of stuff that Rob looks at me like, "Oh my God, why did you just say that?" We went to a bar one time, and the bar manager was like, "Well, I'm getting some complaints about the music, and they're saying this and they're saying that." And I said, "Well, listen,
What are you talking about?
I said, I'll tell you what, I'll let you tell me about the music when you let me go behind the bar and start making drinks for customers."
Oh, that person.
I like it.
And Rob was like
Yes.
this. What Dan means to say, I said, what Dan means to say is what he just said. Is what I just said.
He is pretty rough around.
I'm
the
very
edges.
rough. I did a all ages, and I hate. It's a sin because I'm going to be in this classification soon myself. But I really hate old people when you have to DJ for them because they're as bad as kids. They're as bad. You're the same way, Ed. Stop it.
Yeah, but why does Grandma have to sit under your right speaker and
always
Grandpa
do
have
that.
to sit under
You
your
know,
left
it's-
speaker
it's funny
just
to
to
me.
say, we can't hear ourselves talk?
When I go over anything with a party, I say, this is what we'll do, this is the kind of music we'll say, and when you go to sit anybody over the age of 50, please do not sit them anywhere near the DJ.
Correct.
Because it does happens every time.
Maybe upstairs and a room off to the right.
And that's
Anyway,
good
turn it-
advice.
Yes, it
That's
really
always
is.
good advice. I tell them too.
But we do this. I did this I did this all ages reunion.
Oh, yeah, I
and
remember
for
this.
Rob. And the way it works out, the way it ends up working out, is that all the old people that were around when at the Last Supper and on from there, they come first, you know, and much to their credit, they want to get all their conversation in because they don't know how much time they have left. So what happens
That's
is,
why it's called DJs After Dark.
You know what I mean?
Because
So-
if it was during the day, we'd be shut down.
So I'm playing music, and I'm playing old music and stuff like that for these old people and stuff like that. And a lot of it's, you know, it varies from like caveman drums to on from there, depending on their
Right.
age. And a lot of times they're like, can you turn it down? We're trying to talk. Now I said, well, meanwhile they have a room set aside for the old people to probably with Metamucil and other stuff in there that they can talk.
Right.
And you can imagine that there's a high pitched squeal from all the hearing aids and stuff like that in there. But they're all in there. And I said, well, you know, this is going to go on stages. I know it's going to happen like that. The old people come early so they can leave early. Same thing with the middle-aged ones, and then eventually the young people close it out. That's the way it happens at weddings.
I
the way
always
it
tell
happens at
people
everything
that
else.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm playing. Obviously, I'm going to go from like oldies to relatively disco, 80s dance to modern stuff. That's a natural progression. So I'm there for a couple hours. after fighting back and forth with keeping the volume, I said, if the volume go down one more time, it's going to be off. I'll get paid anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm not singing, though. It's not going to happen. So I go in and now the shift is changing, and I'm changing it over to music. Now I'm playing some Shaka Khan. I'm playing stuff like that, little 80s, a little disco, whatever. Right. And a woman comes and says, Hun, come here. And she says to me, I bend over, and I'm on a stage, right? So I bend down to her, and I said, yeah, what can I do for you? And she goes, saw your boobies? Yeah. Hey, she goes, smoking. She said, can you play some oldies? You're like, we just got here, and this isn't our music. I said, well, it started at 6. What time did they tell you to come? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, it started at 6. I said, I already played 2 hours of oldies. And she said, well, it said 6. But I said, but did someone tell you to come now at 8 o'clock? And she said, well, no. I said, well, then you missed the oldies, and now it's this music. So have a good night. And I walked back.
Now, what I would say to that, because here's what I would say. I would say,
I would be like, whatever you want, I'll sing.
No, I would say
him the Brick. What would you do?
I would say that I've been playing oldies.
I'm sorry that my pants are down.
Yes,
I've been playing oldies, but I'll tell you what, I will get back into
young enough
that
to have kids?
In a little bit, and then I usually throw some oldies back on because I will go back and forth. Because you have to sometimes.
You have to sometimes, but not really.
But you have to remember, you can kind of do an oldie that you can kind of mix in with the new stuff again.
Well,
because
you
want those mid-range people in their 30s
we use the term
they're your
oldies
party
and stuff
animals.
like that. We use the term oldies and stuff like that. But remember, anything 30 years old is now oldies.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you want to be a dick and be technical about it versus doing that, and I understand completely. I'm busting Rob's balls, but like, it's one of those things where, in the style of what he is, he wants to just make everybody happy.
It's impossible to do that.
He doesn't really want to make everybody happy, but he wants to avoid confrontation. That's what he wants to do. He likes to avoid confrontation. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
And Danny wants to be on Fox 29.
Pretty much.
If any customers that are potentially listening to this
are
not going to want him,
I will be honest with you.
Hire any of you. I'll tell you that one.
Love him.
There was this one affair that I would do every year, and I don't want to bore everybody real long. And I thank Rob for this because I think it's one of the things that made me a good DJ. If I could call myself a good DJ or whatever back in the day.
Great DJ doctor.
But Rob used to send me to this party every year at the I forget, Knights of Columbus on Baltimore Pike. Yeah. And it was this particular doctor.
Where it's Miller's?
It was a particular doctor that would treat his patients to a breakfast every year, and probably none of Rob's other DJs would want to do this. It was 7:30 in the morning. Okay, you had to have your equipment there at 7:30 in the morning, and anybody who had to get into this venue at that particular time, it was across this long floor up this stage, and you're up on top. But you know what? Wow. I've realized one thing. Every year this doctor would come, and every year he called Rob, and I think we did it for almost 10 years. I think we do. And there was young people and there was old people, and it was this doctor that performed cataract surgery for his patients. So it would always be this breakfast.
That works out for Rob.
Had good weed.
It was a great time because there would be the crowd would range from, and I'm not lying to you people, from 80 to 70 to 60 to 50 to 40 to 30 to 20, and every year I look forward to this, and the doctor would look forward to it, and I had an entire dance floor dancing at 7:30 in the morning. Wow. And it didn't matter what age they were.
So you got
everybody
there at 7:30,
came out with the attitude.
Set up,
right?
And had it all
oh no,
ready.
I had to be there. Sometimes I was there like 6:30, quarter to 7.
God.
The one woman would walk in. She had like 3 teeth from the night before, whatever.
Remember?
Huh?
You used to get the jobs like 2 hours before.
Oh, and that was another thing that my wife absolutely loved. Every job that Dr. Rock
I'm
did,
sure she loved it. Yeah.
I left 3 hours early. And people say, well, why did you leave early 3 hours early? Because
he does.
I used to love when you go to a wedding and you'd set up and you'd be all done, and then find out like this member of the bridal party, and I remember one affair where it was weird. The bridesmaid didn't want to walk with this guy because they were out the night before at the bridal party, and he touched her and she touched him and whatever. So now arrows are all over the sheet saying this one's now walking with this one. This one's now this one. This one's now this one.
And you know what the funny thing is? This is why his wife Joanne is so beautiful, but she didn't have to deal with him. She didn't have to deal with him as often.
I was always out. I was always out on the road, and you have to remember there was no what's the I can't even think what the navigation system's called.
GPS.
GPS.
Right, there was
yeah.
no GPS.
Yeah, there wasn't.
And you had to be there at 12 o'clock, and you didn't know where you were going.
Yeah.
And Rob's favorite words to me was, I would always ask him, Rob, how far is this job away?
He did.
This was Rob's one-liner, without fail.
guarantee it's
my
still the
cat
same
can
line.
repeat this line. It's no more than an hour away. All right. He didn't
Less
say
than
whether
an
we were
hour.
going
Less.
to Holland or Berlin, or we were going to North Philly, or
I
we were going to
honestly
Jersey.
think when you have him on the phone, I honestly think he has that as a soundbite.
I swear to God.
And he puts the phone down and just hits the button.
Less than an hour.
He goes, I know you
Everything
hate.
less than
He
an
goes,
hour.
I know you hate to drive to these jobs, but let me tell you
know.
something.
He did.
It's no more than an hour.
It's so funny because he's saying it to me. He did it. Let me tell you something. He did that to me. That it was no more than an hour and 10 minutes tops.
Right.
Tops.
Right.
Hour and 10 minutes. He sent me almost to goddamn New York.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then I get there, right, and this is not his fault.
Oh,
I get
my
there,
God, I remember.
and the person we got the job through, the people went through him, right, but then also went on their own and got some other DJ instead. So I show up and there's already a DJ there.
I've had that happen.
But I just drove to New York,
Right.
But
which was an hour and
But
10
you
minutes
did
away,
get
according to
paid.
Rob.
Yeah, that's the
I did
thing.
get
As
paid.
long as we got
You
paid
better
for it, I
believe I
didn't
got
care.
paid.
Right. But
yeah,
it
he
was
got paid
absolutely-
for doing basically driving back and forth.
Google Maps.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's what we did.
Now,
No, he
Well,
was,
it
it
used
was
to be
Maps.
MapQuest back then.
It was MapQuest.
All right,
Yeah.
Rob's raising his hand. He wants to say something.
No, I was just.
Because I remember Rob one time, and this is to all my Pocono listeners, this was the best one. And this was great. Rob had a little, I think it was like a timeshare in Split Rock.
What
Right?
a rip-off.
Split Rock.
I hate Split Rock.
Oh, my
Go
God.
ahead.
Shawnee.
That's it.
Yes.
And then he was going to send me to a wedding, and I took my cousin Monica and her husband, and me and Joanne went, and we were supposed to go for this like timeshare thing, and we were supposed to. And all Rob would say was, "You're not required to really do anything. You just have to listen for an hour." In the
It's
meantime,
only about an
Right.
hour. It's
Oh,
about
got
an
news
hour.
for you. My wife got so drunk with her friend the night before that they called the next day, and my wife goes, "I don't care what Rob said, I'm not coming." Right? So she used the Wampa money, whatever it was, but whatever.
Yeah.
So Rob tells me that the wedding is in Split Rock, and his little gig place is in Shawnee.
Right.
This was great. Rob, how far is Shawnee to Split Rock? Ray, I swear to God, no more than 10 minutes. So whatever. You had to get on I-80. I'll never forget this.
Okay.
How far was it?
We got
Like 40?
so lost with my friend in the car that every time I would ask somebody, all you need to do is go up 2 exits, make a right, make a left, make a right, make a left, make a right, make a left. It's right there. Right? So you go up, and it was make a right, make a left, make a right, make a left, make a right,
And you
make a
know the
left.
funny thing
And
is,
you get up there, and somebody with like 2 teeth would go,
when Rob would give you
back the other
MapQuest
way.
directions, the MapQuest would go and see that right, left,
"Oh
right.
my God!" So you get all the way up there, right? And then you're like, you go all these directions, and then the one woman finally, after like 5 people, goes, "It's right through the woods, right there. You can see it sticking
right
out.
through the
It's right
woods.
through the woods. There's the building right there."
Shawnee was in the woods.
And there was a woman that opened up for me, Rob, if you remember. She played the harp. She was playing the harp for that particular gig.
Did you get a tip for that job?
I got like a $200 tip.
Oh,
That's
that's
nice.
nice.
I got a
They said
$200
that
tip.
tip
I
on
never
his
told you like
MapQuest.
if I got like big tips because
I
you would
know.
always go, I think that we should all. And I'm
Oh,
thinking
come on.
like my hips are the ones that are hurting, and my kneecaps. Well, I just want to tell you, I think you should split it. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't get
I
that.
was
I'm
kidding.
like, yeah.
Come on.
So so. I love.
never do that.
You gotta love these particular stories. They're
Now
just
you're
fun.
thinking, you know what? You had a split back in the day.
You did.
The overtime. That's what. You
That's
had
what
to
it was.
The tips were yours.
Right. I had to work like
Let's get it
6
right.
hours over to get like $15 to
Yeah.
take home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Real
I
quick,
remember
we got
that.
about we got
Yeah.
2 minutes. I want to spring it off real quick. Worst tip. Worst tip you ever got?
0.
Well, no.
Oh.
Well, 0 can be the worst,
All right.
but you actually get a tip.
$20.
What's the worst tip you
10.
ever got?
Wow.
10.
Wow.
I got chocolate bars.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah.
To have nuts?
Nah.
But Dan went
Because the
nuts.
people that gave it to you do.
Yeah.
And then most recently, I got a candle in a jar.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
I love candles.
You want it? I'll give it to you.
Anyway.
Trying to throw
Was it
it
like
out.
eucalyptus or something?
No, it was
or-
like rocks and a candle in a jar.
That's beautiful.
And I was like,
I took the time to make that. That's really.
Didn't you love going to a job and watching
"Hey,
everybody
shut the
eat?
fuck up.
Everybody, and the majority of my jobs, and I think Danny's the same way, I think Rob's the same way, I think Ed's the same way. We all got like a prime rib or something like that.
Oh yeah,
and we all stood in front.
We did eat
but my
well.
favorite one is when people would come to me and say, "Well, there's a club sandwich for you."
Oh yeah.
How many people want
That
to
is
go? I
such an
fucking
insult.
hate club sandwiches.
First of all, that's an insult to the DJ.
It is indeed.
I
It is
mean,
an insult.
First of all, the bride and groom, honest to God, they pay like $25 to $30.
That's a bigger
Give
insult to
us.
them.
Yeah. You know
Yes,
what I've
it's
said to
true.
a bride? I said,
It's
listen,
true. I knew this would open
save
up
your
Hornet's
money.
Nest.
Yeah,
Right.
save your money.
Right.
Give me the money, and I'll go out and buy myself.
Exactly right. Or get me a Wawa again. Somebody give me a ride back to Wawa.
All right, we got to wrap it up.
We got to
Dan.
wrap it up. Remember, join
We'll
us
be
on
next week.
We'll be here next week. Join us on YouTube, DJB Productions. Make sure you subscribe, share it, and check it out. You can also go on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Google Podcast, Caster, Radio.
How do you remember all that?
I don't know. And there's a bunch of other ones on there as well. You can check out DJ Danny J on Facebook. You'll see it because there'll be about 5,000 people from the Philippines that have liked me because apparently
Just don't ask him to play oldies after like 8:30 or something like that because he ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, no.
You can also go to CanonEntertainment.com. Make sure you check out CanonEntertainment.com. You can check out DJBProductions.com. Eddie, what do you got to promote?
My photography business website ain't up yet. I'll let you know what it is, though.
All right.
Thanks, Ed. That was your cue.
And I'm gonna be
That was
down
your,
a
that
little
was
bit
your
of
shot,
comedy.
Ed.
So-
Next week's
was your
show,
shot.
Ed's going to give us a little news too.
Yeah.
All
Give us
right.
a little news.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
And obviously, Dr. Rock, you got anything to plug?
No, I'm kind of like what I'm getting into now is a little bit of comedy, and I'll tell you guys more about it as I go along because the idea is to just make people laugh because, and I want to tell you people, life is too short.
Too short.
Way too short.
Way too short.
We'll
Learn
talk
to laugh
more about
once
that
in a while
next week.
because
We
it
can let you know
absolutely
next week.
rocks.
All
We
right.
shall. So, until next time,
We'll
make sure you check us right here on DJs After Dark.
Looks like the sun's coming up. Was that as good for you as it was for me? Join us next time for DJs After Dark.